runner Letsile Tebogo. What more do you think that guy can achieve?
Well, I think he had arguably his best year at a very, very tender age. An athlete that I first watched at the World Under-20 Athletics Championships, which were held in Nairobi during the COVID-19 pandemic time. And his style, especially at the start, after the gun, is just something that everybody were watching with at the Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi 3 years ago. Just came out to say that this boy was just going to be bad news, as they normally say. And true to it, 3 years down the road at the Paris Olympics, eventually he medaled for Botswana, the first athlete ever from the country to win a gold medal. And you can see how much the country received him with the reception that he got, a presidential reward, 2 houses and company, to be the likes of Kenny Bednarek, Noah Lyles and Arion Knighton over the 200-meter final at the Paris Olympics. I thought that capped it for his career, and to finish in 19.46 seconds and to wrap up his season in style, many do think maybe over the years to come, when he's matured a little bit enough, he could be in pole position to break Usain Bolt's world record that stands at 19.19 seconds.
That's definitely no easy task there. Let's turn to your home nation, Uganda now, Darren. Big shoes to fill there. Who do you think will replace the great Joshua Cheptegei on the track as he now eyes his transition to the roads?
Well, it's been a roller coaster of emotions for the athletic fanatics here, especially in the aftermath of what you've just said. Many still do not believe that Joshua Cheptegei has crossed a marathon, and in a race that for an elite runner requires just 2 major races across the year, which is contrary to Cheptegei, where he, ideally in a year like this one, would have competed at the World Cross Country and then at a major world championship, beat the Olympics or the World Championships. But he's now reduced to 2 marathons in a year. And looking around, I must say, Jacob Kiplimo has got the mantle to take over. He's lived in the shadows of Joshua Cheptegei for the last 5 years, I must say, since the World Cross Country 2019 edition in Aarhus in Denmark. And in that event, he went on to win the silver medal behind Joshua Cheptegei in the senior men's 10-kilometer event. And since then, the two have been polled together over the 10,000-meter final at several championships. Kiplimo, of course, missed last year in Budapest in Hungary, but this year he was unfortunate in the 10,000-meter final. Coming into the final bend, he was among the top 4, but somehow he withered to finish a distant 8th. But I must tell you that he's had an incredible career on road. If he can replicate what he's done over the half marathon, where he recently held the world record, or the cross country, where he currently holds the world title, defended it this year, won it last year in Bathurst in Australia, you feel if he takes that onto the track, he can ably replace the void that Joshua Cheptegei has left on track.
Right, and Darren, it has been a great year for African athletes, both in the French capital and beyond. Many records did come tumbling. Which world record, if I was to put you on the spot here, ran by an African this year, impressed you the most, and why?
Well, I think looking at the world records for the African athletes, and there were quite not many. I think the women's marathon, Perez Jepchirchir doing, I think, 2 hours 16 minutes. But I think the one that stood out for me came a little earlier in the season during the Wonder Diamond League, the leg in Eugene at the Prefontaine Classic in Oregon in the USA, where the athlete that is Beatrice Chebet, who I must say had an incredible Olympics for Kenya, went on to break that record for the women's 10,000 meters, to break the 29-minute mark, the first woman ever to do it. And eventually she swept aside Letsenbet Gide's former previous mark of the 25-lap distance that was set in June 2021.
أكيد شايف الفرق، كيف ما تشوفه والعين ما تخطي، الفرق واضح في كل
54.14 seconds. I thought that was a really standout bit for me, and eventually she carried on with that form to the Paris Olympics, becoming the only individual athlete in athletics to win 2 gold medals at the event. And I actually think if she does continue with this form, she could dominate everything and perhaps fill the voids that have been left by many Kenyan runners that have since crossed the marathon.
All right, Darren, thank you very much for your insights. As always, plenty to look forward to in athletics in the year to come, 2025. Darren Keyune, sports journalist, joining us live there from the Ugandan capital, Kampala. And that's where we leave it on this week's edition of Sports Scene. Do remember, you can send your feedback to the